Hey you guys, it's Kimberly with Real Progressives. I'm in my car. I hope you guys have had a great holiday season. I've had family. It's been really, really great. And I'm sitting in a parking lot because I have an 11-year-old who took probably 2 hours to leave the house yesterday because she says she doesn't have any clothes that fit her. So that's kind of awkward for her. So my mom is here and my mom is taking her shopping, and I was just waiting here a second to see if some other folks come on, and hope you guys are having a really great day. So I wanted to talk about progressive candidates and moving forward and the movement. Hey Ellen, I'm so glad you guys are here. I only looked at congressional candidates that ran in 2016, and it's really been a battle. There's a very, very long list of losses and a very, very short list of wins. Hey Sebastian. And I want to talk about some of the people who ran, regardless of party, and I'd like to talk about the movements that have been pushing progressive candidates. So let's talk about some of our heroes that I think a lot of us have followed here. Arn Minconi ran with the Green Party. I think everybody knows Arn. Hey, Robert. But again, that was a loss. So there you have a progressive candidate running on progressive platform, and he didn't win the election. Thanks, Evan. New blood, new people in positions really push a mix-up, some kind of new aggressive grassroots effort. Hey, Ike. Who else was running? I have like a whole list here. Margaret Flowers, I love. Margaret Flowers is in Maryland, and Margaret Flowers was like a hero because she's been working hard for so many years, pushing progressive platforms, and she wasn't allowed to debate because she's a Green Party candidate in Maryland. She was running for the Senate, and what was really cool is she got up between the Republican and the Democrat and requested that they allow her to speak, and they basically let her off of the stage. So that was very, very heroic of her. So you've got Arn and Margaret that were Green Party candidates for 2016. Hey Rona, hey Ellen, hey James. Marcia Squire is also another Green Party candidate. She's in Michigan. I know she's going to run again. And Tim Canova was the Democrat running in Florida, and he didn't win the primary, but a lot of people donated and backed him. And what I really, really like about Tim Canova is that he decided that he was not going to do the call time. I'm running for Congress in Virginia, and I haven't decided how I'm going to run, if I'm going to run, but we'll talk about that at the end. But what's frustrating is when you're looking for campaign managers, they're all saying the same thing. They all say you need to be on the phone for 30 hours a week, calling, asking for money. And I would much rather be on the streets with the people, talking to people, than on the phone for 30 hours a week. So I really feel like we need a very large national grassroots movement to support candidates, so that way we can do something different. Hey, Evan again. Evan says, I had read something from Jill either this morning about how the debate institutions now are a joke and we need a new viable way to debate. That's true. I ran as an independent this last time, just a soft run, just for a couple of months. I wasn't on the ballot, but it gave me the opportunity to drive around my district and just to talk to all the people through 20 different counties. It was a really good experience, and I wasn't allowed to debate or really do anything at all. So it's frustrating how you're pretty much kept out. I also want to talk about Barry Welsh. He's in Indiana. I met him at the DNC convention. I was outside protesting, and he was one of the national delegates, and he ran as a Democrat, although he was an independent, and he lost as well. So there you have a list of people who stepped up to run progressive platforms. They all lost. And I want to talk about the people who did win and the different movements, whether I agree with these movements or not. The first one I want to talk about, which I don't know how you guys feel about this, is Dem Enter. There's a lot of people who feel like we need to take over at the Democratic Party because we have a two-party system. It may be faster than taking over on the outside. But what do you do in high Republican districts where a Democrat's not going to win? If you listen to Don Ford in California, he went around doing a documentary called What's Next? And he and many other people believe that you need to take over at the Democratic Party level. I don't think that that's going to work in Virginia at my district, although he thinks that people need to go in and replace the chairs at the bottom so that way progressives can be allowed in. But we've continually seen the Democratic Party disappoint us and not really let any progressives in to make any change. So, is it really possible to change the Democratic Party? Is it possible to reform something that has continually proven itself to be very, very corrupt and unchanging? I don't know. I'm all for people being active and involved and trying something new, but I know in my district in Virginia that a Democrat, it just can't win. Taking over at local offices. I know I don't have any elections up for boards until 2019, so I won't be running for local offices, but we can start taking over at the local level. So it's great that people are involved, whether they're an independent or a green or whatever they may be. Brand new Congress. I kind of want to talk about brand new Congress, but I have some issues with brand new Congress. I don't think that brand new Congress understands modern monetary theory. I like the idea that they want to take over within the system. So they want to run Democrats in an area where a Democrat can win. They want to be able to run Republicans where a Republican can win. But here's my problem. They want people who do not want to run for office. They want to find candidates who don't want to run. Here's the thing. Let's get real. If any of you have watched candidates run, if any of you have run for office, it is a lot of work. It is a humongous sacrifice. You will not be spending time with your family. You will not be doing your hobbies. You're going to be on the road at meetings, canvassing all over the place. It is a full-time job. And so this disgusting idea that, we know people that would just be great to run, but they just don't want to run. Well, I'm sorry, it takes work to run, and I think that it's something that you have to be passionate about if you're going to be successful, because it's a passionate thing. Anyway, that's just really disturbing, and I think it's great that they have a volunteer organization. I think it's great that they're trying to do something, but the whole idea that it's not any work. I mean, I literally called them and I was like, listen, I'm sorry, but this does take work. And they said, oh, no. We're going to do work for the candidates so they don't do any work. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. It takes work. So that's brand new Congress. I'm really sorry if you think I'm trashing you, but I just think that's unrealistic and not cool at all. Because I think candidates want to have to run, and that you shouldn't be twisting anybody's arm to run, because there are some good people out there that want to run. So anyway, that's brand new Congress. Progressive Independent Party is a really neat concept. That's Eric L. Bloss with Progressive Independent Party. It's a great concept because it's about bringing together all of the smaller parties and having one umbrella for all the different smaller parties. And here's the thing, we have a two-party system that is not representing the needs of the people. And I think we're at a point where people are really, really tired of the establishment. And you can see that with the last presidential election. People are tired of the establishment. So I like PIP because they're going to help run candidates across the nation, no matter what their political party may be. So they may be with the Justice Party. They may be with the Green Party. They may be with the Democratic Socialist Alternate Party. I think this is a really cool idea, and I know that they're moving forward with that. Green Party is another movement, and I love the Green Party platform. I think we all love the Green Party platform. But time and time again, we do not have any Green Party candidates who have been successful yet getting into Congress. So what do? I'm all for continuing to build the Green Party. I also have seen that the Green Party does not seem to get modern monetary theory. I don't think that Jill Stein gets modern monetary theory. So it'd be great if she did. But again, I love the platform, yet nobody's winning in the Green Party. Great, great, great people standing up. So what do you do to build that? I think that a lot of people are coming out to try to build the Green Party now. So there are also other types of networks that have helped push progressive candidates, and I'm not really sure how I feel about them. One is Our Revolution. That was something that came out of Bernie Sanders' movement. They backed candidates that they considered progressive. However, they can still take dark money, the way that their system is set up, the way that they've structured their plan. They can take dark money. And I don't know if the people that they backed are necessarily progressive. I know that the guy that they backed in Virginia, sure, he had a progressive platform, but honestly, he loved Hillary. No offense, but Hillary is not progressive. And I think it's hard to call yourself progressive if you're backing Hillary. I mean, that's how I personally feel, and I think that totally killed his campaign. You know, it's hard to say, I'm a progressive, but boy, I love me some corporate people. Give me some of that corporate money. No, that's not how I would define someone who's progressive. So, you know, I just don't know about this list with Our Revolution. Let me give you their list, that some of the people, they had a pretty long list. And the people that I really looked at were the people who won seats in Congress. That was Tulsi Gabbard. I think everybody pretty much loves Tulsi. Raul Grijalva. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm so sorry if I messed up his name. He actually ran unopposed in Arizona. So he was backed by Our Revolution. Keith Ellison from Minnesota. Nanette Berrigan from California. I don't really know enough about a lot of these people. Rick Nolan in Minnesota and Jamie Raskin in Maryland. So those were the people that Our Revolution listed and backed. But there was a very long list, and there were tons and tons of losses. So that's really a very small handful of people. And again, here's the thing about Our Revolution. They are only backing Democrats. So, you know, progressive, does that mean that if you're progressive, you're only a Democrat? You know, I don't know. I mean, it seems like, are they going to be able to make a difference once they get into the Democratic Party? It seems like the Democrats are really not moving or changing. It's a really difficult situation for all of us. There was also, if you want to look at a list of progressive candidates listed, you can go to berniecrats.net. And they had a very long list, and it looks like all of the incumbent Democrats who supported Bernie Sanders pretty much won because they were incumbents, but the rest totally lost. It's an extremely, extremely long list of losses. And when I was looking for campaign managers online, I looked up progressive campaign managers, and I came across something called PCCC. It's Progressive Change Campaign Committee. And they had some candidates that they backed who won. Well, they list Elizabeth Warren. I don't know how we feel about her. I feel like she's really holding on to the corporate world there, and that's been a huge disappointment. Pramila Jayapal. And then the other ones were also with Our Revolution. That was Jamie Raskin, Rick Nolan, and Nanette Berrigan. Those were all the wins, and I couldn't tell if they had backed anyone who lost. And PCCC, they have this entire form that you fill out if you want to be endorsed by them. But again, these are things that will only endorse people that are going to run as a Democrat. And they have some funny stuff. You can see that they totally do not understand modern monetary theory. Here's one of their questions on their survey that you have to go through to see if you agree with it or not. It says, do you support adding trillions to Social Security's current surplus by scrapping the cap so millionaires and billionaires pay Social Security taxes on more than the first $118,500 of their income? So basically they're saying, boy, you all, we got to make the rich pay for everybody else, right? Because that's kind of the Democrats' thinking, and this stuff is not true. Again, they're like, we got to make them rich people pay their taxes to pay for everybody. No, this is so not true. And then another one of their questions was, do you support saving taxpayers approximately $230 billion over 10 years by allowing Medicare and Medicaid to for Medicaid to negotiate prices with pharmaceutical companies? So again, they're like, man, your tax dollars are going to go pay for stuff. So they are like totally not getting it, and that's a shame. So these are what our options are for the bigger organizations supporting progressives. So what do you do in a high Republican district? And this is something that I'm thinking about constantly, and I'm constantly trying to figure out, how do I win my district in Virginia? My district in Virginia has been gerrymandered. So when you go out and you talk to people, pretty much every single county is Republican, and most of them supported Trump. And what's really interesting, I was going back looking at stuff, and there was a guy who was a Democrat who won as a Democrat. His name was Virgil Goode. And in 2000, he decided to leave the Democrats, and he ran as an independent, and he won. So isn't that cool? In my district, an independent for federal office for Congress actually won in 2000. And then after that, he ran as a Republican. So I don't know what his deal is, but that's kind of really cool and gives me a lot of hope. What I really want to do is I really want to run as an independent to pull people together and just be a progressive. Can we have a huge national movement to run progressives that are not party affiliated? Because as soon as you're affiliated with that party, you're going to be raising money for your party, not necessarily the Green Party. But the thing is that so far Greens have not been winning, and I've got to be honest. In my state in Virginia, there have been some really major weirdos who ran with the Green Party ticket, and it has really, really, really hurt how people think about the Green Party. So when I ran for a soft run just for a couple of months, I was Green Party endorsed, but didn't come out and run with the Green Party because it has a lot of issues in Virginia, and it really has a lot of growing pains, and it needs to grow, and people don't think the best about the Green Party because, I mean, honestly, there have been some major weirdos, and I know that's horrible to say, but if I went out on the street, they'd be like, remember that guy who ran? We remember that guy. And I'd be like, okay, that's cool. So the more I think about it, the more and more that I've looked at numbers, it really looks like a Democrat cannot win my district. And I really don't see myself winning a Republican primary. I don't think that the Republicans would ever let me in. It was an open seat the last election in November. It had been a Republican seat. A Republican won. He won by 17 points. The district that I'm in is actually R+5. That means that a Republican's usually going to win by 5 points. And in 2012, a Green ran, and of course this was during a presidential period, election year. He got 5,500 votes. That was 1.6%. So the most that the Green Party has gotten in my district is 5,500 votes. The Republican won with 193,000 votes. Again, that was a presidential year. 2018, I'm coming up in a year that is the midterm election, so I would need less votes to win. And the last midterm, a really great Democrat ran. His name is Lawrence Gauguin. He had only 35% of the vote, which maybe is kind of high for a Republican district. He had 73,000 votes for him. The Republican won, who was the incumbent, by 125,000 votes. So that gives me an idea. Did any independents run? No. In 2014, a Green ran and had 2,209 votes, and the Libertarian ran at 4,298. And then in 2016, the open seat, the Republican won by a landslide. The Democrats spent a lot of money, and the Republican didn't spend much money, and he won by 17 points. So it was a landslide. But so I really don't think that a Democrat can win when you look at these numbers. And so far, Greens have been running this district. They have not won. You know, you can look at this over the years. It doesn't look good for the Greens. I think the party's going to have to build here. I love you too, Sandy. Thank you. Oh, and hey, Amy. Sorry. So the more I think about it, the more I want to take the risk and run as an independent. An independent is actually won in my daggone district. I think that is epic. Run as a progressive independent, but it means that it would have to be a national movement, and we can push progressive policy. And, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool, but I drag my kids all over the place, and I would have 2 years just to travel all over the district. And honestly, it takes money to win elections, but we have seen that you can raise a lot of money with really small donations. Tim Canova raised $4 million off of small donations. He did not do call time. That gave me so much hope. The other thing that gave me a lot of hope is watching the interview with Margaret Flowers and Kevin Zeese in Maryland. You know, a lot of the times I look around and I see activists that are much older, and they've been fighting this fight for, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And I look and I'm like, are we ever going to win this fight? Are we ever going to win this battle? And the thing is that Congress is so important, because Congress decides how we spend our money. So not only do we need all these movements on the outside, we have got to have people on the inside. And how are we going to win? The Democratic Party has been a disappointment. Dem Enter is not going to work in high Republican districts. So let's do something new. So we're going to have a humongous national movement. And, I'm thinking that it's possible, and I think that's how I'm going to move forward. The other thing that Margaret Flowers and Kevin Zeese talked about is that how we have non-violent actions, and how these actions have moved policy forward. And they're usually helping some type of movement, whether that was the Flush the TPP campaign. I think that they're trying to halt uranium mining now out west. So they're doing really good things. So it looks like a lot of progressives lost, and the question is, how do we move forward? I'm just really thankful that there are tons of different movements, whether we agree with them or not. Dem Enter, a lot of people are not happy with Dem Enter. It may work in some areas, but it's definitely not going to work here. Sandy says she's one of those old activists. And the Green Party, what's going on with the Green Party? So far, the Green Party has been around for a long time, and, nobody's winning. It's a frustrating thing. So I think I may just run as a progressive with no labels and try to bring together my Greens and my Republicans and my Democrats, because here's the thing. There is less that separates us than that divides us. When you go out and you talk to people, you realize how much we have in common. There's a lot of false things that divide us. People are people everywhere, and people want to be helped, and people are very, very, very tired of the establishment when you just go out and talk to people on the streets. So maybe that needs to be our approach. Let's change the establishment. Can we make it happen? It's going to be a lot of work. Can it happen over the next 2 years? I don't know. Melanie says she's one of those old activists too. Oh, hey, Marcia, I was talking about you. That's cool. Marcia's on here, and she's going to run again in Michigan. So that's cool. So we need more people to stand up and run and to push progressive policies. So that way we can have a better world. And we're going to be helping you with Real Progressives too, because I really think that learning modern monetary theory is one of the things that will help us move forward, because people need to understand that we can have health care. People don't need to be on the streets and homeless because they got sick and they couldn't afford their mortgage. I mean, what kind of world are we living in? It's crazy. So anyway, I hope that you guys have had a really great holiday, and I'm in the parking lot because my mom is in town taking my daughter shopping. So she says she might run as a Republican with a green endorsement. Yeah, I have thought about everything. I've thought about running as a Republican too, but I just don't think that I can win the Republican primary. I think that would be a really, really, really difficult thing to do. So All right, I love you guys, and I hope that you have a really good day, and New Year's is coming up. Let's see what 2017 brings. All right, catch you guys later. Bye.